just say what you want to say.
Do you want me to sing the song?
Yeah.
Say what you want to say. You guys all know you're thinking of this song.
If Monica was a real estate agent, she would make cleaning videos and give market updates. But I'm doing it in a way that invites you in and makes you like want to see it.
Yeah, your social media is not your trophy room. It's like your living room.
How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are 2 agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Happy spring, marketing girls.
Happy spring. It's officially April. Hopefully it's not snowing today in Indiana.
Hopefully not. But I do remember we've had snowstorms on April 1st in the past. So who knows?
It's terrible.
Okay.
It's a terrible prank, Mother Nature.
I know. I'm going to start today with a quick little story from my book. And then we're going to talk about how you are going to make a few changes.
We're giving a little refresh for
so
the
that
spring.
You can attract more referrals.
Yes. Okay, this is story time with Chelsea.
Okay, this is from the book, The Slight Edge, and it's called The Beach Bum and the Millionaire. And it says, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be, from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I'm going to tell you the story now. So he says, I want to tell you about 2 friends I've known since I was a kid, guys from my old neighborhood in New Mexico. These 2 characters grew up together, went to school together, graduated together, and roomed in college together. They were both pretty personable guys, and I got along with both of them. They had identical childhoods, though, and by high school, they had both earned reputations as mischief makers. Still, they both had more than enough drive and ambition to make up for whatever strikes they had against them. When you add it all up in terms of their skills and potential, I would say they were really evenly matched. In fact, they were almost identical in every way. Every way except one, which was the different paths they took and where they led. The first friend dropped out of college, moved from New Mexico to Daytona Beach, Florida, the spring break capital of the world, where he became a beach bum, lifted weights, chased girls, and let his blonde hair grow long and curly. People started calling him Gorgeous George after the WWE wrestler who brought pro wrestling into America's living rooms. My friend was pretty popular in a big fish in a small pond way, but he was a beach bum, cutting golf greens to make ends meet, sweating in the sun while he lugged around bags of golf clubs for the wealthy, frustrated and unhappy. He eventually left Daytona Beach and went back to New Mexico, where he went into business for himself. And what happened? The business failed and Gorgeous George lost everything. Then there was my other friend, Gorgeous George's buddy. As an adult, this guy led a charmed life. Graduating from college as an A-plus student, he went on to business school, graduated in the top of his class, then got recruited by a gigantic tech firm, built a stellar resume, and went on to create a string of entrepreneurial ventures, each one more successful than the last. Today, his life is rich in every way. He has a beautiful, amazing daughter, thousands of friends around the world, runs a record-breakingly successful company, and is happy beyond measure. Yet, he still stays in touch with his childhood friend, the beach bum. In fact, they stay in very close touch. I often think about these 2 guys because I know that I could have been either one of them. Matter of fact, I was, because here's the one piece of the story I left out. The reason those 2 guys were roommates all those years, and the reason they are still in constant contact today, is that they are one and the same person. They're both me. That college dropout who became a frustrated beach bum, who eventually took his shot at business but bottomed out there too, that was yours truly. That straight A college graduate who went on to create one business success after another, who became a millionaire with a fabulous family, friends all over the world, and a richly happy, fulfilled life, guilty as charged. I've been blessed with a lot of success in my life, but I sure didn't start out that way. I started out as Gorgeous George, the college dropout, golf greens cutter, and I'll tell you a secret. I'm the same person today that I was then. Not that I haven't changed a lot through my experiences. We all do that. What I mean is deep down inside, I'm really no different than I was then. It's not as if I had any sort of lightning strike overnight transformation. I did not go to a mountaintop, did not experience enlightenment, did not have a near-death experience that showed me the truth of universal brotherhood, although I did go through some pretty terrible failures that at the time sure felt like near-death experiences. I didn't change who I was as much as I changed what I did. I didn't change who I am because no matter what the gurus and therapists might tell you, I don't believe any of us can really do that. I mean, we are who we are. The kid who became a frustrated beach bum was never anything but average. Average at schoolwork, average at sports, average in social skills. The incredibly fortunate and deeply happy man I am today is still that average kid, no more, no less, and I say that without an ounce of false modesty. The only reason I made the transformation from there to here is that somewhere along the way, I've had the good fortune of being exposed to the slight edge. How I got from there to here and how you can get from wherever you are to wherever you want to be is what this book is about. So, step number 1 for spring, read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
I forgot that I have read that, and that is so good. That whole book is so good.
I love that story.
Yes. It is so good. It challenges you because here's the thing. I think we get caught in this box of like, well, it's that time of year again. Like business slows down at Christmas time and then it's a little dull and then it usually picks up in the spring, but I can expect this. We can fall victim to like our circumstances. What we hope that today's episode is going to do for you is going to like give you a new way to look at the spring market, a new way to see opportunities in the midst of everything else that you have going on in your life, and to take advantage of that.
We are here today to give you that slight edge that's going to turn your social media efforts into more referrals this summer if you follow what we're about to say. So we're going to do a little like, would you rather. We're going to do like a this or that today, where we're going to say you could do this, but instead you're going to do that. So we're going to go through about 10 of them.
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
Get ready to show up a lot more powerfully this spring. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to start us off with number 1?
Yes. Instead of posting a carousel post literally almost anything else. Although I love carousels, but here's our challenge to you. We want you to look at any type of carousel post that you could create, or that even if you're, a member, that you could edit and whatever. But we want you to insert yourself into it a little bit more. And I mean more than just like adding a photo of yourself, but like, how can you take what that carousel is about and make that piece of content totally your own? One way that we talk about doing that, we've talked about, getting your face on camera, talking to the camera, whatever. But even beyond that, one thing that we started doing that we have noticed has really like clicked with people is like we've gotten out a dry erase board or like a giant Post-it note, and we've drawn pictures to demonstrate what we're saying. That has like resonated with people so much.
Macy McNeely says if you can't picture it, you can't persuade someone. If they can't picture it, they can't be persuaded. So drawing something out, whether you want to talk about like what the market is like, or you want to compare interest rates, or you want to compare waiting to buy a home until prices are here, or you can visually demonstrate it by drawing it, and it will click a lot faster for someone and they'll be able to understand it. In the book, Draw to Win, he says the goal of drawing ideas is not artistic perfection, but clarity.
Right.
So what you're doing is making the idea you're about to share super clear. So I like the idea of whether it's market related, it's about a topic that you feel really passionate about when it comes to real estate. Like maybe for you, it's like how important it is to have a listing agent, or how important it is to stage your house, or like whatever your thing is. And then think of how you can draw different scenarios out that will explain that, right? Or make something sound like, okay, that makes sense to me. You could even use ChatGPT and say, I want to draw this concept. Give me tips that the author from Draw to Win would give me, and see what it comes up with. Like, you don't have to come up with this all on your own, but just to get some ideas, because when you're drawing it out, it's going to stop someone in their scroll and they're going to be like, wait, what is she doing? What is happening here? So that's one thing you can do instead of a carousel post.
Yeah, you can lean on like a Venn diagram, or like you could do this or that, or like you can even ask ChatGPT, what's something in nature that I could draw that could demonstrate what I'm trying to say? This whole thing has been going around for a while, like the analog, everything analog, right? And there was actually this like study done a couple months ago now where they talked about how like even if you are simply holding a notebook in your hand as you're talking to the camera instead of holding like your cell phone or something, it gets people's attention because people are just starting to crave something a little bit more analog, something a little bit more human, right? This is one way that you can do that. So it might sound like, oh, where do I even begin? But like Chelsea just said, like you can literally, like you can upload a post into ChatGPT and say, if I had to draw a picture that can demonstrate this, and if I could get it out and reel in like less than 60 seconds, what could that look like? Keep in mind, you don't have to be an artist to do this. Like the more third grade drawing that your drawing is, the better off it'll be and the more effective it'll be.
And think of different metaphors you can use for a drawing. Like you could use ChatGPT to come up with them, but even thinking about like really simple things to draw. So drawing like a stick figure and like what the this or that is from them scheduling a buyer consult 3 months before they're ready compared to the one who isn't. Like how can we draw that out? Like there's so many ways you can take a concept like that and then bring it to life. And again, the drawing can be ugly. It doesn't have to look
Yeah.
good. The point is that it gets attention. In fact, I did a reel like this not too long ago, and it was very highly converting with my call to action. We had tons of comments on it of people signing up for the thing I was sharing because the picture made something click. It made it clear what I was trying to say, and then it made that person want to take the next step.
Yeah.
So think about, even if you are part of Modern Agent, taking one of our posts and putting in that exact post that you like the concept of in ChatGPT and say, give me 5 ways I could draw this concept. It's just going to make you stand out. It's going to be that slight edge over the agent that's just posting the graphic that looks pretty.
Yeah, exactly. About capturing attention, right? You only have a few seconds to do that on Instagram. Okay, let's go to the next one. Instead of searching for your photo that you want to use on dupe photos, take your own pictures. We want to challenge you to do like a spring photo challenge. We're actually doing this inside the membership for a week where we are going to like recreate these photos. We're going to get this all done so that we have a bunch of content we can use in the upcoming months. You can do this yourself too. Like when you do go on to dupe photos and you do find photos that you like, ask yourself questions like, what is it about this photo that I like? How is she sitting? What does she have in her hands? What's in the background? How close up are they? How far away are they? All of these questions. And then think to yourself, how could I sit in a similar position to kind of like, I know how to pose. It's not like you're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And what could I have if she has a, Louis Vuitton purse and you're like, well, I don't have that. Like, what could you hold? Do you have a cute tote bag? Do you have your bag of library things? Do you have your laptop bag? Whatever. If she's holding a coffee and you want to hold a glass of wine, like kind of fill in the blanks there a little bit. Like think like a modern agent here, but recreate your own photos. And you guys, you can use these photos in so many different ways. Your content will work so much harder for you if you have your own photos in them.
We really need to be thinking about content differently because I think starting out, we think about content as like something we need because it's going to check the box. It's going to get done what we need to get done. But when we think about content in the context of, I'm going to post content that builds my brand so that I am more memorable and I get more referrals and I have more trust with the people that are consuming my content, it shifts the way we're approaching it. So instead of being like, I want to use that cute photo on dupe photos with the latte in her hand. Do you drink lattes would be my first question, because think of how drastically different that photo would be if, number one, your face was in it, the clothes you actually wear are in it, the color that you wear, your brand colors. Replacing that beverage with your actual on-brand beverage, which could be anything from a McDonald's Diet Coke, a Chick-fil-A Diet Coke in a can, coffee cup that's your signature brand color, or it could be a glass of wine, a smoothie. Like
Right.
that picture will look so incredibly different based on the literal beverage in it. And then in addition, having your actual face in it, and you can use that picture over and over and over. Like that picture could be the end slide of every carousel post that you post. And now you didn't just take a photo from dupe that looked pretty and aesthetic, but you actually started building your brand because people are going to be like, smoothie, Chelsea. Like
Yeah.
it's going to do something for you beyond just that post. So it really makes your content work so much harder for you when you do this. And when you're coming up with like what photos to take, you could go through Instagram and start saving ones that you like the look of and then kind of recreate those. But also think of different parts of your client process. So like, do you have a branded client ritual, like bringing pizzas on closing day, or you always bring this bottle of champagne, or you have a branded like gift bag that you give your clients on closing day? Have that be one of your pictures that makes its way into a lot of your content frequently, because it starts to, again, it builds the brand. So if you have a carousel post and one of the slides always has that branded ritual as like one of the pictures, not only are you taking less photos and you are creating less content, you're creating content that is now becoming sticky in people's brains. And they're like, oh, that's so cute. I've seen that before. Like it starts to become memorable. So don't just take photos to take photos. Like take photos with intention so that you build branded content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, should we go into number 3? Instead of looking for a particular piece of content, just say what you want to say.
Do you want me to sing the song?
Yeah.
Say what you want to say. You guys all know you're thinking of this song.
Just say what you want to say. We filter our content so much so that it becomes something that could have been this really good, thought-provoking, scroll-stopping piece of content, but we turn it into a graphic and then we chat GPT it and then we add these filters and we take ourselves out of it and it has no personality.
Right.
And it just falls flat. Without a brand, your content doesn't land. So I'm going to say that on every episode. That's my goal. The point is just say what you want to say. If you have something that you want to talk about related to the spring market, related to staging your home, related to why it's important to hire a listing agent, or why the smartest buyers schedule a meeting with their realtor 3 months prior to getting started, like whatever that thing is, if you would just open up your camera, grab your cute little beverage, go to your cute little office spot or cozy corner or front porch or front seat of your car. Like that's such a good spot. And you record it and you post it first to your stories. And then if it turned out good, turn it into a reel. That piece of content will do so much more for you than the polished version. And I'm not saying for it to be messy. I'm not saying don't wear makeup. I'm not saying don't look good. I'm not saying have greasy hair. I'm saying record it without adding all the filters. You want to take it from you sounding like a robot to if you were sitting in the front seat of your car with your friend and you wanted to tell her that exact thing, that's how it should sound. And that way of creating content, it won't necessarily get you a ton of likes, but I have a secret. The content that is the most needle moving isn't the content getting a bunch of likes. It is not. So if you want to move the needle, you want more conversions, you want more referrals, this is a non-negotiable piece of advice. Okay.
Yeah. And bonus tip, when you start practicing sharing content in this way, just getting on your phone and talking, you're going to get so much better at talking to your clients in real life. You're going to be able to think of these examples and these metaphors and all of that so much more in real life that like you're going to make more money in the long run with the clients that you already have in front of you just because you've developed this skill.
And it is a skill and it's something that you're going to get better at the more that you do it. So it might feel clunky. I mean, I talked about in a previous episode that I did my 30-day experiment of talking on stories every day. There are still days where I record something, I'm like, I just didn't really like how that turned out, or I feel like that was too clunky, I'm going to redo it. That does happen, but all it does is it makes you better and it starts to become easier. So you got to start somewhere and you're going to gain the confidence. Like if you're afraid to do that, then you probably shouldn't be talking to clients in real life.
Right.
Like if I say that to you, that probably like strikes a nerve, right? Like, oh my God, I have to talk to clients in real life. But you're going to be more able to handle high pressure questions or objections or be able to say the thing that makes it click for them or explain it in a way, like even going back to the drawing. Can you imagine sitting down at a listing appointment and drawing out why they're paying you the commission versus not, or why listing at this price versus that price?
Right.
Like you're drawing
the
like
buyer
a pyramid.
pool, sales price, all the things.
It's going to land so much better than just showing your PowerPoint graph or your whatever document you have, you know? So these skills that we talk about on this podcast, they should 1000% hands down be taken into your real life. They're not just for social media, but social media in like Instagram or whatever, even email. It's like not your practice round, but it's like your first showing is online. So this is someone's first exposure to you, their way to see like, hey, do I want her to come sit at my kitchen table and talk to me or absolutely not, right?
Right.
And when you repel people that way, 100%. But if you repel them there, you also would have repelled them in real life and it would have been a very challenging situation for you. So
yeah,
I would focus on using it like this is so that I get better for my clients, not just so I have something to post. Like there are multiple wins in doing things like this.
Yeah, so much more than content.
Yes.
Okay, so it is spring, which means hopefully you're starting to get busy with listings. So let's talk about, instead of posting a generic listing post, get on your stories and go live or whatever. But like get your phone out, hold your on-brand beverage and say like, hey, we're here at my new listing and I have to show you this one room. This is not about giving them an entire tour of the listing, because then why do they need to schedule an appointment with you? Why do they need to reach out to you, right? Show them one little thing. If you're like, you guys, I'm getting ready to make this listing go live tonight, but I wanted to give my followers a sneak peek of this bathroom. It's so cool, or whatever. Doing that one little thing it invites conversation, it gets people curious, and it makes them crave more, right? Let's just not like, let me rephrase this, okay? Because I don't want to be too hard on anyone. We get professional listing photos taken of our homes, right? Why do we do that? So that people can post them on the MLS, right? When people are searching, agents have their buyers set up on all these searches so that when people are there, MLS has all these rules that we have to follow. That is what those professional photos are for. I'm not saying that you cannot post those on Instagram too. I know that there's sometimes like I follow like a couple house accounts that are like so cute, but they always show just a bunch of video clips. And I'm like, I just want like a picture of the room so I can see what it actually looks like. Like, where does everything actually go and all of that, right? There's a place for still photos, but still photos is not your listing marketing strategy. You can include those. You can have those like complement what you're already doing, but you want to have something specific that you can share that makes your content stand out, builds curiosity, all of that. And then eventually, yeah, you can share a few photos if you want, but don't share a generic listing post. You've worked too hard to get that listing to do that.
And that also goes to show how can we get more listings from our listing. If we want to get more listings as a result of our listing, okay, the old school way is like, hopefully I get some sign calls, right? Hopefully I get some sign calls. Instead, we could leverage our platform that we have free access to called Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and we can create marketing around our listing that gets attention and gets people to like lean in and be like, wait, what did she just do?
Right.
And I don't mean like there are some really creative, funny, sometimes cheesy listing videos out there that are like professionally produced. Those are great, but that's not you don't need to do that to get attention from your listing or to get another listing out of it. There are so many other things that will get attention from your listing, right? Simply even sharing the one room that's giving someone that little like teaser and now they want to know more, that's getting someone, interested in your listing. I always love doing this exercise. If an agent came and sold your house and marketed it, and all they did is took the same photos that the professional photographer took, posted them on Facebook and Instagram, and called it a day as far as marketing your listing went, would you be like, they were phenomenal?
Right.
Or would you be like, they were average? They
That
did
was expected.
what was expected, right? So if you want to go beyond that, we have to get a little bit outside of the box. One idea that I love so much for a listing is the best and worst features of my new listing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do this as a reel, and then you could like pop little pictures on to the screen like that show like the best feature, but the worst, obviously you're not going to say something negative, but you kind of make
Right.
it funny. Like it's walking distance to this coffee shop, so I'm going to be spending a lot more money at Roots Coffee Bar. Like something like that.
I'm going to go broke.
Or
Yeah.
there's a pool, which means I'm probably going to have a lot more summer parties and a lot more kids at my house because we're going to be the house all the kids want to hang out at. Like something along those lines where you're flipping the so-called worse into something that's actually positive. But like that hook, first and foremost, gets attention. Now you add like city name to it. So like your piece of content is going to the people that actually live where you live.
Right.
I think a lot of what happens is we want to post content that, like, when we get the likes, we feel good, right? Like, it's like, oh, people really love this one. And sometimes that can just throw off, like, how intentional we're being about what we're posting, because a lot of times, like, the real estate-y content, the likes it's getting is just from other agents, which is great.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't wanna just get likes from other agents who are like, "Oh, good job," or like, "That's really pretty," or "You have such a great grid," or whatever. Like,
Right.
we wanna start conversations and be memorable to the people who can give us more referrals and who are hands down coming to you when they have that real estate question, right? The one that you're getting in front of. So, we just need to think a little bit differently about this is expected, but I'm gonna go beyond that. And I'm not doing it for likes. I'm doing it to open that curiosity loop, to start a conversation, to have someone in my DMs asking me more. Or like
Yep.
you have to think a little bit beyond just the vanity metric of it. And not that, creative listing content will probably get a lot of likes. So there's that too. But don't focus on that first and foremost. Focus on just marketing your listing in the way you would want your house marketed.
Right.
Marketed.
Yes. Side note, episode 17, if you haven't gone back that far, that's our basic listing post. We don't know her. That's from last year, but we have a lot of ideas there about listings as well. Also, if you are a member, you definitely want to access the Launch Your Listing Custom Plan, where we have a 20-page workbook and a whole bunch of listing posts and all of that show you how to market your listing like a modern agent. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Kind of going along with that, instead of posting a generic market update, try this. You could get on your stories every Monday, name it something. So like you could name it Coffee with Katie. Every Monday, I'm going to have coffee and give you a little mini market update, and share something that is very easy to understand. Like you can even put it in ChatGPT and say, how would you explain this to a third grader? It will come across so much better. And people will start to like know that you're going to do this every Monday. Like that's a more powerful way to share about the market. You could turn it into a reel too. I think the part that will make it interesting versus just like days on market, here's how many new listings we have, is to do that third grade language.
I think the key too is doing something on your brand menu. So whether you're on a walk with your dog or whether you're in the car eating Chick-fil-A or whatever, adding your personality is going to make that so much more fun to consume.
Okay, so here's an example ChatGPT gave me. It's like, here's what's going on with houses right now. There are not a lot of homes for sale, but there are still a lot of people who want to buy. So when a good house hits the market, it usually goes pretty fast. It's kind of like when there's only a few cookies left on the plate, everyone wants one, and they disappear quickly. So like you have like an example like that, right? Like that just makes it fun. So the purpose of this is we don't just want a market update that any agent could post that lives in that area and sells homes in that market. We want it to come from you and be branded in a way that you can still talk about the market in real estate, but it's going to be memorable. And someone's probably going to stop and pay attention. And if you did that example with like cookies, you could be eating a cookie. I know like chocolate chip cookies are part of some people's brand menus. Like that's their thing. They'd give it to clients at closing. They can bring it into that. So that'd be a perfect element to bring into a video like this. But yeah, that's going to make someone look at it and think, Chelsea told me this about the market, versus seeing something that looks like, oh, there was a market update that I completely ignored because I don't care right now about the real estate market. Whether someone is looking to move or not, if you make it on brand to you, it's going to be more fun to consume for people, and they're going to remember it.
Absolutely. We talk about personal branding all the time, but maybe that sounds complicated. But what if I told you you could have a personal brand by Friday?
We're giving you a simple week-long plan with clear action steps to follow Monday through Friday, so by the end of the week, you have everything you need to start standing out in your market.
Click the link in the show notes to grab your Personal Brand by Friday guide so you can get started today. Okay, instead of sending an email about spring weather or the showers or things are getting warmer or whatever, that just feels more generic or something that literally anyone could have sent, send a story about something that happened recently. Maybe it could be that a client asked you a question. Maybe it could be that your tulips are popping up in your landscaping. Maybe it could be that you finally got to open up all your windows. It can be about spring, but have it be about yourself, right? Like sharing it from your perspective. That's what people want to read. Like, because of the world of ChatGPT, and like, thank God for it, right? Like, we all love it, but like, we have replaced all of our creativity and all of our humanness and the things that people actually want with like ease and fast-paced results, that we're not actually going to get the results that we want from that. I promise you, I don't care who you are. If you are listening to this podcast, you are far too interesting and smart and creative and great at your job to be sharing emails with your database that are all about spring anything. Like, not that you don't share anything about spring, but like what's happening in your spring, what's happening in your community. Like, if you look at your email and if you can look back at it and think to yourself, could any other agent in my market send this email? If the answer is even for a split second, yes, then you need to revise it. Like, they want to hear from you, not from ChatGPT, not from a marketing in a box program. They want to hear from you.
Okay. Speaking of stories and emails, I know it can be harder, or it sounds easier than it actually is sometimes to tell a story, right? One thing that you can do is there's this, I think it's called 750words.com. It has you write until you reach the 750 word max. And the point of it is just to get you like writing. But what you can do is just start writing about what happened yesterday
Yeah.
or over the weekend or anything. And you'll come up with a story. And
Yeah.
you can always lean on ChatGPT. How could I make this a story for my email? Don't copy it verbatim from ChatGPT, please. But just use it to guide you of how I can plug something into this email that just feels like natural and about me. I mean, it can be something as simple as I just finished this book and I have to tell someone because it was so good. And in case you didn't know, when I'm not showing houses or XYZ, I'm probably reading a book. So if you're
Yeah.
not following me on Instagram, I share all my, like, I don't know, something so simple, but it like connects, right? And you still bring in real estate. You still make that part of your story. But if you don't know what to say, do that practice writing, that 750words.com, and just get out a story or write it down or ask your 3-year-old, what was your favorite part of the weekend? And he'll probably say, playing with cars. And then
Right.
that can be your story, like it can be anything. Like literally saying that brought to mind, like I love in our house, we have a room that when we bought the house, it was used as an office, but I turned it into a playroom. And I love having a playroom right off the living room because it's not like it's buried in the basement and like who wants to go in the basement, like he can just go play in there and we can be like in the kitchen or in the living room and he's right there.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to keep the toys out of the living room, all the things. So like that moment I said that about a 3-year-old, I thought that could be my email. Like this is one of
Yeah.
my favorite features in our home.
Yep.
It's related to real estate, right? Or like think of other things you're doing right now in the time of spring, like spring cleaning, spring refreshing. This brings us to our next one, actually, which is instead of a basic home refresh post or email or like spring cleaning tips that every agent posts at this time of year, instead of that, why don't you just do the spring cleaning? Set your phone up. It could be a time lapse. It could just be a quick reel, you wiping your counters down, you making the bed. And that's where you share the advice. Like you actually do it while you're doing the thing, right?
So bonus, your home gets clean and you have created an engaging piece of content instead of just sending people a list that, again, probably ChatGPT made.
There are full accounts dedicated to cleaning and like when
Mhm.
ASMR was such a big thing, like, and I find myself watching these for like 20 minutes of like someone clean their house. But like maybe I should start this account so my house is always spotless. But the reason why watching that is, I guess, desirable is because it almost feels like you're accomplishing something even though you're not. Like you watched that thing get clean and you're like, oh, it's like this, your brain wants to close the loop. So like
Yeah.
if you start watching someone put their food away in the fridge or organize the sparkling water cans or whatever it is, your brain wants to close the loop. It cannot look away until it closes the loop. So when you think about doing that with your own content, like it could be, again, just wiping the counters down and you
Yeah.
have your phones propped up on a stack of cookbooks or on a tripod, and in it, you could do a voiceover, you could give a tip on camera, you could have a little microphone attached to you so the sound is good, and
Yep.
you could share your market update that way. Like when you think about like the Friends cast, for example, we all know who love to clean, right? If Monica was a real estate agent, she would make cleaning videos and give market updates along with her
Yes.
cleaning videos, right? So like think of our organizational tips. That could make such better content than just like these generic posts. This kind of goes with the one of instead of looking for a piece of content to post like this, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What advice do you want to give to your sellers or to your buyers? Like just record it and do it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it might sound like more work in the beginning, but think about it. You were probably going to clean your house anyway, right? You were going to already do those things. So why not kill two birds with one stone and just either record it and then add a little bit of music or add a voiceover or something, or just like talk while you're doing it, whatever that wants to look like for you. And it's going to take a little bit more time at the beginning just as you're getting in the flow of things, but it won't be long until this is second nature to you. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, we're going to see a lot of spring cleaning and people want that. Like, people are ready to like open the windows and don't eat everything and all of the things. That's why, I mean, we have like spring guides and all that for that very reason, but people want to see it in action.
The other thing I like about a video like that is it's a pattern interrupt. You're not expecting to open Instagram and see a real estate agent opening windows or sweeping or wiping the counters down. So it makes you stop and think, what are they about to say? Or what is this about? So that slight edge to your content, it goes back to that. It's doing something unexpected. It's not doing the traditional, what everyone expects us to do. And when we do that, we can actually post a lot less frequently
Right.
because that one piece of content works a lot harder. So like you may have a million things that you want to post or talk about. And you have all these ideas in your head and you're like, I could post all this real estate stuff and I'll sound good and I'll look good and it'll make me look like an expert. But the thing is if no one stops to read it, no one stops to scroll through it, no one stops to pay attention because it looks like that's not for me, then all that effort was for nothing, right? But if
Right.
you do something a little different and you have that slight edge, you're getting people to actually stop and pay attention. And now that piece of content that maybe took you a little longer has a bigger return on investment. The time spent has a better return on investment. So when it feels like, well, that might take a little bit longer, but I told you you could post less then, does that sound desirable? Because it sure does to me.
Right, exactly. Okay, let's go to, instead of making a post about your guide or about your thing, about your email, about whatever, just weave it into everything you do. This is also true for real estate, right? Instead of having your real estate post and then a post about your Diet Coke and a post about your health journey and all of those things, just blend it together and make it feel so much more light and effortless. If you have a spring guide that you want to promote this season, that's fantastic. We want you to grow your email list. Like you can weave this into anything. So if you're talking about, like the reasons you loved real estate this week, one of them could be, I've been able to help people in city name refreshen their house and love where they live again. And if you want that too, you can comment spring for my guide. If you are posting about like spring cleaning, obviously you could put something in there about that. If you are just sharing like behind the scenes of what you're working on, if you are doing literally like anything, if you're on your stories and you're just talking about like what you have going on through the day, whatever, like share that. If you have someone tag you in it because they really liked it, share that. Like there's so many ways that you can share about it. It's kind of like your listing too, right? Like I think the old way of thinking and what a lot of agents do is they post about their listing and they work so hard on this one listing video that they have this professional come over with their drone and they record all these things and it's really cool. But then the listing sits there for a little bit because of whatever reason. And then they're like, well, I don't know what else to do. But it's like, no, you post about it again and again, and you talk about it all the time, and you stop by and you take this, and like, it's just a natural part of who you are and what you do. That is so much easier. And think of it this way too. Let's say someone sees you talk about your spring guide and they think to themselves, I want that. But then the car line starts moving and they got to pick up their kids or they put their phone down. They forgot about it, right? If they think to themselves even later, or if they see your name later and you're talking about something else, make it so easy for them to find what they're looking for. So if you're really trying to promote one thing right now, like a spring guide, make it so that no matter where they click on your feed, they will find it. Like, don't make them work so hard to get the thing that you want to give them.
I want you to think of it like this, like every time you post about that thing, the spring guide, it's an opportunity to connect and have someone remember you. And what I like to do is if you think about what's inside of your spring guide, now here's another topic. We don't need to put every single thing there is to do in our city in a spring guide.
No.
I want you to put your favorite things to do in your city in the spring guide, and that's it. Think of it like all the influencers that post, the same things from Amazon and the same whatever, like the ones that you stop and pay attention to usually are like, as a mom of 3 and someone with ADHD, these are my must-have things. Like that's what differentiates them, right? So you're going to be the same way as a local realtor and mom of 2 or someone who loves to go to every event or blah, blah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
These are my must-do things this spring. Like you're just making it feel personal to you. And that's what when someone wants it. We don't want a generic list of events that we could get anywhere. We want to know what Chelsea's list of things to do this spring are. So what I would then do, because you do these things anyways, is when you do something from the guide, like go to pick up your flowers at this local greenery, or maybe it's getting a spring coffee with a friend at this coffee shop, or going to this outdoor dining spot. When you do it, post about, or don't post about it, put it in your stories, and then put the link sticker with a link to your free guide.
Yeah. Easy
or set up a
breezy.
menu chat automation. Reply spring to the story and I'll send you the guide. So it should become so natural. It's kind of like, I don't know if this example makes sense, but I'm going to say it anyways. When you bake a cake, you have flour in the cake. You can't see the flour in the cake, but without the flour, the cake wouldn't taste good, right?
Right.
That's how I want you to think about your content. if you only use the flour to make the cake would taste horrible. If you only post about the guide by itself, no one's probably going to care or pay attention.
Right.
But when you bake it in to the piece of content about something that you're actually doing that feels relatable, or like, I want to see what she's doing, or like, what is she going to say? Whatever, all these examples we've shared today, that's when it feels like just so natural to be like, yeah, I want that thing.
Yep.
You're not leading with it like it's a billboard. Like, we have to stop using social media like it's a billboard. Like, here's my listing, here's my market update, here's my free guide, here's my this, here's how to work with me.
It's like you're shouting at me. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I am yelling. And I also type my
No.
notes in all caps.
You're not actually. That's just what it feels like when it's like, here's this, here's that. Don't forget this. It's like, whoa.
It's all about me.
Exactly. Okay, what's our next one?
Okay, this actually goes really well with what we just said. But instead of sharing a client testimonial graphic, first, please don't. Do exactly what we just said, but with the client testimonial. So same thing. No one's going to stop and be like, oh my gosh, what did Jim and Sue say about Chelsea and her real estate experience?
No one cares.
No one cares. Even if it's a really good review and it's like, I want everyone to read this because it shows what an amazing agent I am. I'm sure it does. Like, we have reviews that we want to post like that too for ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
But no one's going to read it. But when you weave it into something like 5 things I loved about real estate this week, and slide 2 is a screenshot of a text message saying like, this was the best experience of real estate I've ever had. Thank you so much. Put that there. Use it more than once. It doesn't matter. The more authentic it looks, the better. Even better than them typing it all out on Google and giving you an amazing review and you're so proud of it. Just screenshot a portion of it that someone can focus on. Like, even if it's like a sentence, because people are going to be more likely to see that than read the whole thing and try to get it out of the middle of it, right? So like, just splash it everywhere. It's like adding the sprinkles to the cake all over, not just like dumping them all in one spot. We've used that example. So testimonials, put them everywhere, but weave them in.
Yes.
Everything we talk about, really, it's sharing your life, weaving in the real estate, weaving in the testimonials, weaving in the listings. Like, it's not about, here's all my trophies, here's all my listings, here's all my things. It's, here's a little pop here and there and all over the place that you will not forget I sell real estate, but I'm doing it in a way that invites you in and makes you like want to see it, instead of like, here's this, and you're going to mute me in 2 days.
Yeah, your social media is not your trophy room. It's like your living room, right? So like, there's a big difference there.
Oh, good.
There's a time and place. We want all of those like trophies to be on Google. We want them to be on your website. People can see your credibility, but social media is not the place.
I am going to film a reel with that quote on it as soon as I'm done recording this. I'm going to go sit on my couch with the phone recording with my glass of wine, and it's going to be a reel that says, social media is not your trophy room, it's your living room.
Do you know why you're going to do that? Because you're not going to look for a particular piece of content. You're just going to say what you want to say. Boom. Guys, I have another really good one. Full circle. I have another good one. Instead of blaming the market, create the market. Okay? Here's what I mean by that. It is so easy for us to be victims of our circumstances and to look at, well, this is how many houses are for sale in my area, or this is how much percentage the home sales have gone down, or this is how much longer homes are sitting on the market, whatever it is. And maybe it's flying off the shelves for you where you're at. That's wonderful. But here's what I want you to keep in mind. Any data that you ever see is all pre-you, okay? It's like, this is a terrible example. It's like before Christ and after death. Those are two, like the Old Testament and New Testament, those are very wildly different scenarios, right? But it is kind of the same thing here. And here's what I want you to think about that. Like, people are going to move because they had a baby. People are going to move because they're running out of room. People are going to move because they want their kids to go to a different school. People are going to move because they got a new job. People are going to move because they want to live closer to their family. Whatever that thing is, okay?
Do you know what's crazy? As you listed those things off, I had a person in my head pop up for every single one of those scenarios. Like, literally people I know. Like, that's wild. Okay, keep going.
All of those things are true, okay? I call those like internal reasons. Something has shifted internally and a move is necessary, okay? But there are also external reasons why people want to move. And some of those reasons include like, I just want to live somewhere warmer. Or like, I just want to be able to like walk my kids to the coffee shop every morning and stop at the park or whatever. Like, it's because they are seeing another possibility for their life and they want in on that. Okay. That was kind of honestly the reason why we moved when we did. We didn't need to. In fact, we had a great deal on our house and we loved where we lived, but we kind of started seeing other coaching families live 5 minutes on the road from their school. And the team basically lived at their house. The staff was always over. And it was like, well, we want to do that, but it's really hard to do that when we live 30 minutes away. So there are external reasons. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to really own the external reasons for them. And what that means is like your job is to show them everything that's possible on the other side of packing up and moving. Okay. And it could be for any reason. If they're moving to a place with more land, if they're moving to a place that's closer to downtown, if they're moving to a place closer to this city or whatever, show them what life is like when they finally decide that instead of letting their interest rate rule their life, they're taking ownership of their life. You know, I heard this really good example the other day from a friend who used to struggle with like anxiety. And she said that instead of looking at like financial stress, for example, instead of waking up in the morning and letting financial stress take the driver's seat, she was like, I just decided I was going to drive the car and that financial stress was nothing but another passenger in the back. And I had to cart it around and I had to deal with it and I had to listen to it, but I was still in control of the vehicle. And I'm like, that is what I want agents to be thinking about in the market. There's things that are all happening all over the place and you have to cart all those things around with you, but you are in control. So if you want more clients who want to move to your city, who want to move to the lakes or whatever, show them what that is like. And I promise you, you will see the payoff of that.
Really, you're going to, instead of talking about the hangups or the restrictions or the excuses like, oh, interest rates are this or when are they going to go down, lead with the payoff. What is the payoff of moving? There are so many people moving or looking for, I have so many friends right now. One is looking for a house simply because they want a pool.
Mhm.
They don't want to put one in, they want a pool.
Yeah.
They're looking for a house.
Love it.
Another friend is moving because their daughter's going to school that's 30 minutes from their house and they're not going to drive her. They don't want to drive that far every day. Like there are people moving every single day. And I think a lot of times we focus on because we hear objections and excuses more than the flip side. Like
Mhm.
people aren't walking around saying like, I can't wait to move because I want a pool. Like they're probably telling their realtor that, right? But you may not be hearing it. You're hearing objections, which means you're kind of handling objections with your content by talking about it over and over and over. But there's so many people out there that they want to move for something as simple as the fact that they want a pool or because they want to live in this city instead of that one, or they want to be in walking distance to this thing. Like lead with the payoff, like start leading with the payoff in your content. And if you make a list, I want you to make a list of 10. And if you can't think of 10, think of 30 payoffs for why someone could move right now that you know. And like you could even picture the people like I was, Kayla was talking. I was like, I know someone like that and like that and like that. Like you'll start being able to lead with the payoffs in your content, which inspires people.
Yeah.
It inspires people. If you lead with the interest rate topic over and over and over, that's great. And people are going to be like, that was in my head. I was thinking that, but they're probably not going to be inspired to do anything different. They're going to still think about the interest rate, right? Kayla and I, we were talking before we recorded this about when I moved and we were in our house for a while where our plan is to build on our farm. So we didn't really I'm calling this a stepping stone house, which I've talked about, but our mortgage was so low on our old house because of when we bought it and because of when we refinanced with the really low interest rates and all the things. And we moved and are paying an extremely higher amount for our mortgage, but we wanted more space. We didn't want to wait till we built on the farm. We just wanted something different. We had been in that house for 12 years. Like we just wanted to move. And there's so many people, so many more people than you think that are in those scenarios than the ones that are like, I'm not moving because of interest rate. No one moves because interest rates go down. They might refinance. They don't move.
Right.
So if you're a lender, yes, talk about it when the interest rates go down. If you're a real estate agent, people are moving every single day. And like, how can you connect with them? That's who you should be thinking about connecting with. So leading with the payoff is going to inspire them. It's going to make them think. It's going to make them see things differently through a different lens. So like lead with the payoff.
Oh my gosh, so good. Well, the other thing that I had written down that kind of does coincide with what you just said, but like instead of posting about the interest rate struggle, instead of making that like, well, this is what everyone's asking me about, this is what I'm going to post about those possibilities, right? You know, it's kind of like if you have like two people in front of you and one of them is super skeptical and has their hands, their arms always crossed and they're like that, They're like that dad that's like, well, I paid this much for my house back in whatever. Is it easier or more productive and a better use of your time to talk to him about all the reasons why he should consider moving right now? Or is it a better use of your time to talk to the person who's like, I don't know what it's going to take and I don't even know if I can do it, but I really want to be a homeowner. Or I really like what you just said. Like, I know that I'm giving up this interest rate and I know I'm going to spend a lot more, but like part of me thinks maybe that's what I want. Which one's a more productive conversation? Sometimes we spend so much time, like, I mean, gosh, like all these people who are just begging for sale by owners or expired listings to work with them. Why are you talking with the people who never wanted to hire an agent in the first place? Like, and I'm not saying you'll never convert them, but like, it seems a lot more productive to talk to the people who are bought in with what you're saying, who are seeing the possibilities of what you're putting out there, and who are like, you know what? Like, will you show me the way? I want you to show me the way. That's a much better use of your time. That's how the wealthy agent mindset thinks. That is how modern agents think. And that's how we want you to think.
I also want to say that, like, as a real estate agent, you're not an exception. This isn't like only for you. We do this. We don't want to spend our time trying to convince someone to have a personal
Right.
brand. We're just teaching the ones who do want to know how to do it
Yeah.
and showing them the way. Like, I don't want to go talk at a brokerage and try to convince agents who are stuck in the outdated marketing methods why they should change their mind. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a good use of my time. I'm here for the ones who are like, tell me everything. I am ready to do the work. Like, so in any industry, this is true. In any industry, this is the more profitable way, the wealthy agent mindset, the wealthier way to operate. It makes more sense.
The bottom line here is we want you to be able to get in front of the right people, to be the obvious yes for people in your market, for you to become the go-to agent. But the only way that you will get there is if you do things in a little bit more of an unconventional way. If you have that slight edge, if you think a little bit deeper, if you peel it one layer more, if you start doing that, all of these things are like a ripple effect. Like, it's one thing's going to affect the other, it's going to affect the other, it's going to affect the other. So start with one of these things that we said, and we can go back through in just a second and kind of review them. And then maybe in like a week or two, like put this on your calendar to listen to this episode again and like take another thing. Like start like biting it off in small pieces and like actually implement it. Because I promise you, it will change not only the trajectory of your business, but it'll actually change your life.
I actually have a quote to pair with this. Decide today that you care more about the journey than the result. You have to learn to enjoy the process and detach from the outcome to stick with this. I saw it on a post. I'll link it in the show notes. But it's so true, because if you are focused on like, well, I need to change all of this so I can look really good and I can get more referrals, and you never do any of the actual things, nothing will ever change, right?
Yeah.
So start to fall in love with the journey of showing up this way, the process of creating content with that slight edge, the process of being an agent who's not stuck at the industry standard, at the default mode setting. Like, be the agent who's going to do bigger things, and you're going to reap the rewards, but you can't worry so much about the result. Like, oh, I posted and didn't get enough likes, or I didn't get a client out of this, or I didn't get a lead, or I didn't get a, don't think about that, because it will stop you from showing up. You have to just get into the motion and start living this way of making content, and the results will come organically then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, do we want to recap these quickly before we say goodbye?
Yes, let's do it.
Instead of going to dupe photos and looking for a stock photo, just take some photos of yourself. Build that content library that you can use over and over. 2, instead of posting a carousel post, turn it into a drawing. Do something different. Number 3, instead of looking for a particular piece of content, just say what you want to say. 4, instead of posting a generic market update, make it a series. Get face to cam. Brand it with a beverage or something that you love, or the walking of your dog, or the toddler on the hip, and say it like you would say it to a 3rd grader. 5, instead of posting just listed, weave your listings in and talk about them all the time. 6, instead of sending an email talking about the weather or you can't believe it's April, tell a story. Use 750words.com to pull a story out of your recent life or weekend or whatever. 7, instead of making a post about your guide weave it into everything. Talk about it in your stories. Talk about it at the end of your post. Talk about it on slide 3 of your carousel. Number 8, instead of a basic home refresh or spring cleaning tips, actually do the spring cleaning and turn them into reels where someone's going to have that pattern interrupt and stop and pay attention. Number 9, instead of sharing a client testimonial graphic, also weave those in little pops of different places. 10, instead of posting the fears people have and the objections you're trying to handle, lead with the payoffs. Post about the payoffs. And then I didn't have the one that you said before that.
Well, that's okay, because we kind of blended instead of blaming the market and instead of posting about the interest rate struggles. That was kind of grouped as one, but we kind of separated it.
Perfect.
Yes. Guys,
There
this was
you have
so
it.
good. There's your slight edge. I just know that you are going to experience the payoff of showing up in this way.
You know what I would really love? I would love for you to DM us on Modern Agent Marketing Girls Instagram and tell us which one stood out to you the most. And I will pick one of you to send a little Modern Agent swag to.
Little something, something. I love
Little
it.
something. DM us on Instagram and tell us which one you loved and is going to change things for you. Okay, that is it for today, friends. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.